2023 Williamsburg Rev3 half. This is the 2022 guide because the 23 guide is not out yet. But we're going to tread onward and we are going to talk about some specific course breakdowns. This is pretty traditional. The first couple of things that they list off, the schedule of events is pretty much the same here. Packet pickup, checking in, all of that stuff pretty much doesn't change from year to year. Leading up to the race. So make sure you head over to the athlete guide. Even so, they haven't posted the 23 version of it yet, and we're going to talk about the specifics. This is pretty much what happens from the course. I'm going to zoom in for you on this glorious map here, especially that bottom bit. The swim start happens over here. So this is the transition area right through here. Parking over here. The swim start for the half, you go up over here and you curl around and then you head out for the half swim finish, which is right through here. You will of course notice that you have a serious jog for transition one. You have a big time jog there. You can also notice that you have, this is the water views here, and you will notice that some of this is not very deep, and typically what does happen during this time of year is it does fill up with silt from the race as well. So if you are not one of the first couple of people there, this is going to be a very cloudy swim for you, probably from the time you reach this point in your race onwards. Just because everyone kicks it up and throws it all around in the water, and it becomes impossible to see in the water. So if you lose visibility in the water, that is why. Don't be afraid. It is just a natural occurrence of hundreds of people swimming in the same spot in shallow conditions, okay? So a couple of quick things that you need to know are the main bulk of your speed is going to happen from the start, and you curl around pretty much right through here. After that point in time, it's going to slow down. So inversely, what I am going to recommend for most people on this race is to come out a little bit hot on the swim and then cool off as you start to get to that finish line, because you're going to be going slower speeds anyways. Okay, just because there's going to be people everywhere, there's going to be silt mixed in there, there's going to be places where you stand up, and it's just going to become interesting the closer you get. So get your serious swim in the earlier you can in this race, the better, right? And then afterwards, just get through the rest. Afterwards, kind of a secondary reason why the swim is that way is because you're going to have to do this serious jog to transition. Where we look at our glorious transition maps, we see that we have the swim in at the bottom here. So once you do get to that transition area, you are going to have to curl to the bottom and then run through transition that way. So the smart person would have their bikes, if possible, in the rack right through here so they can grab their bike, hop out and go. When they come back in, the bike in right through here, and then you run out the back and then out afterwards. But we'll talk about the run later on. So scrolling down here, let's zoom back into a normal reading area. Athlete checkout, they talk about athlete pickup here. Again, this is going to be this is going to be pretty standard for you from year to year on. So notice that race happens on Sunday, and it is July 9th right there. This year's race is happening on the Sunday as well, so you're probably going to have this exact same process leading up to your race, okay? Make sure you read this. Body marking. Athletes will body mark themselves. Okay? So again, something else to keep in the back of your head, and lists of to-dos before your race. That is probably going to be the same. So now let's dive over. Since we talked about the swim already, we are going to talk about the bike, which if you do dive into their courses right through here, let's go to the half. There is something interesting to note. So that is the end of the bike course up there. I've extended it a little bit more, and I am still at 55.4 miles, so I can almost guarantee you that this bike course is short. Okay, so this is the 55 version, which my theoretical thinking is if they have the road closed, they might as well just bring it all the way up. But if they do not do that, then it's going to be even shorter than that. So think like 54.5 miles, okay? If that's not the case, great. I mean, I would highly relay to you that it is going to be short here. This course has about 2,000 feet of elevation gain. A couple of things that you will notice from the elevation standpoint right off the bat is it looks very, very intimidating. If we dive in a little bit deeper to some of these things here, though, you could see that a lot of these hills are 2%ers. They're just kind of ankle biters, right? They're coming at you and then they end. They come at you and then they end. Come at you and then they end. The thing that you do need to take note of is in an area like this, right, is it is a rolling uphill race here. So you do have these ankle biters, but they continuously keep coming and coming and coming and coming at you. And that is the main source of elevation on the course like this. It's primarily mixed up of things like that. And yeah, you're going to have a couple areas where you do have a serious hill or two, like this one right through here. Okay, but there's no separating road or no diagonal road coming in, right? Except for this one right through here. So when you do some of these downhills, right, you're going to get negative 11% in some of these spots. So you will be able to go fast. But what goes down must come up, right? And you are going to experience a little shallower hill coming back up on this side when you are heading out on your race course. When you come back the other way, you are going to have to go up that steep downhill that you just went down, and the best way to do that is to drive the downhills leading up to this. Drive the downhills, carry your speed as best as possible, and then you will get up a major chunk of that hill before it actually starts to flatten off again. So those hills, you could turn those into molehills again. So a course like this, you definitely have the opportunity to get a best time or close to it, or around a faster time for you regardless of this elevation profile. So this 2-loop course, we are going to start out over here. You're going to go out to the bottom of this course, the southernmost part of the course, and you're going to hang a left, and then you're going to do this out and back. When you get through here, you do take a right-hand turn, which if we dive in here, this is probably going to be one of the more dangerous parts of the course right through here, just because of the zigging and the zagging. Another important feature of this course is one of the sharper turns on course is going to be to start the second loop. If there is no traffic patrol person there, you just need to be aware at this intersection because it is going to be a tricky one. If it is a wet day, watch out world. It is going to be tough at this point in time. You can see here from the specs that this turn is on relatively flat ground or slightly up. So you do have that benefit as well. If you can carry your speed through that corner as best as possible, I know you're going to slow down, but the person that goes through this corner the best is going to be like 3 or 4 seconds ahead out of this turn alone, right? If you go into this turn and you lock up the brakes and you're going a mile an hour out of this turn, you're going to lose a lot of time on someone who can get through this at 10 miles an hour. Starting that second loop, you're going to have a lot of carnage left off from the swim if you are a faster athlete. There is going to be, again, that sharp left-hand turn is going to come at a point in time where you are going to intersect the race with other individuals. Watch out for them. Be aware of other people coming up on the course. Okay, it's going to take you a little bit to kind of get back into the swing of things, and you're going to be passing a lot of people. Keep using the downhills to drive the uphills, and you're going to be A-okay. On that second loop, you're probably going to have a lot of people. If you are a faster athlete, you're going to have a lot of people up until this point in time where you peel off 614, okay? At that point, you start to kind of get back in the swing of things, get back into your normal riding conditions. And again, 614 is going to come up again, and I'm just going to let you know right now, you are going to experience another wave of people at this point in time. Watch out again during this zigzag portion of the course right through here before you peel off and turn right again. And the reason I say that you're probably going to experience a best time or close to it, having the capability to do that, is because if we do something like this, right, this is our time analysis. If we go 5% faster on a course like this, we're going to save 3 minutes. Arguably, if you look at it, you are going to save huge chunks of time on the major undulating uphill sections. You're going to save that 15.5 seconds. Woo! But if you look at that segment time, that is a 14.5 minute segment for this athlete. If you are a little bit slower than this athlete, it's going to be even slower for you, even longer. So I would highly recommend not to chase those time gains on a course like this here, because you're going to have to do a lot of work for an extended period of time. And again, I said they were ankle biter hills. Look at all of these here and let me highlight them for you so you can see. These are easy picking hills right through here. Easy, easy picking. If you ride this section and you just continuously attack, 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 attack here, yeah, you're not going to save that 3-minute area, right? But you are going to be able to get a huge, huge time bonus right through there. Okay. Afterwards, right, you are absolutely going to want to drive this uphill. Absolutely. But you're not going to want to do it for an extended period of time. You're not going to want to step out of your target zones for a long, long duration, because these other hills, you can get a serious, serious set of time bonuses during this point. And I'm going to draw a line out on the screen here. This little mark where my line is about 3 seconds, right? So you can see there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I mean, and it just keeps going on and on and on. So you can save 40-ish. You can save a minute on some of these other hills that are not the major ones that everyone is talking about on race day. So you don't want to do it here. You definitely don't want to do it on that second loop. You want to establish yourself on this hill right through here before you start to set the course on fire again. So once you get to the top here, when you peel off, this out and back section is going to be critical on the first loop, and I would argue a little bit more on that second loop. Once you get past here, right? Once you peel back on 614, you're driving back into town. You do have some undulating downhills before it dumps you down, and then you get all the way back to the finish. This last section through here, this is a, let's call it 2.5 mile section because I didn't highlight it all. This is an area where a lot of athletes get this wrong. This is a flatter section. You have 25 feet of gain, right? You have 27 feet of loss. It's pretty flat. You know, you have an average of negative 0.1. So a lot of athletes really drill this point back into transition. When you arrive at this point, you shouldn't have to drill it back into transition. Your work is done. Your speed should still be up, absolutely, right? But you shouldn't be working. If you're already going that 22 miles an hour, you shouldn't be striving for 28 at this point in time. That's not what you want to do here. You want to just get your legs ready to rock and roll. You want to get them ready to go. The run course is... it's another unique feature that you're not really going to get at other places. That transition area right through here, you're going to run out over the bridge. That is this section right through here. And then once you get to about this area out on course where that 6 is, it starts to pick up. Imagine this hill being an uphill that you would drive on the highway. It's a perfect scenario for, or a perfect visionary thing that you can imagine it. For race day. Afterwards, you go down and another highway hill up to mile 2. Right, which is this point in time right through here. And we are still driving to this out and back, this turnaround right through here. But after we get past mile 2, from mile 2 to mile 5, it is run time. Okay, you're not interrupted by many hills anymore. The hills that you will experience, they're not overly aggressive. They might be steep, but they're not going to last for a long period of time. And it's going to be like that. You're going to be able to run this section of course from mile 2 to mile 5, arguably the way that you want to run. Outside of that, on each loop, you're going to be kind of hampered by what the course is kind of throwing at you. So from mile 5 to mile 6.5, you do have 2 serious downhill sections right through here and another big uphill. So you're going to be really limited here. On a course like this, you want to be moving at a quicker pace on these downhills. An athlete who kind of controls himself too much and walks down these downhills is going to pay the price for it later on. Right? It's okay to walk, but not the whole way down. You want to be using this point to have gravity assist you, not losing a ton of time on other people. The front runners of this race are not going to be walking down these hills for an extended period of time. There's going to be a point which they may walk, right, for sure. But if you're doing it for this whole downhill and then you're running up and this whole downhill again, that mile from mile 5 to 6 running down to the base of the bridge is going to be a very, very slow mile time-wise. You are going to have to run all the way, probably the turnaround is probably right near the transition area, and you're just going to have to complete this course all over again. Okay, which is not the end of the world. You're going to run the second loop arguably the same as the first loop, right? That first couple of hills coming across the bridge, Highway Hill 1, Highway Hill 2, don't really crush this on that second loop. That point at mile 8 to mile 8.25, 8.3, that is going to be the time where if you wanted to kind of push things, that would be an opportunity where you could kind of close the gap on someone if you needed to. And that's really the last major one that you can do. This longer section, this longer tempo area is going to be a perfect opportunity for you to do that again, but that's going to take a little bit longer time. You know, if someone's in the middle and you're at the bottom and you see they're really struggling and you pick the pace up just a little bit, you're going to be able to close that gap a lot faster than over the course of this section here and here. Then on loop 2, you just have to manage these downhills as best as possible. Just get down them, you know, and hit on into the finish line. This is going to be a race that's going to be highly um, impacted by the weather out on course. If it is super hot, be very careful, okay? Cool yourself at every opportunity that you can. It's going to be kind of a hot, muggy race anyways, so the better or the more you can do that with those aid stations, it's going to be it's going to be more to your benefit later on in this race, especially from mile 8.5 to mile 12. That's really where it comes and hits you on a course like this. And that is the Rev3 Williamsburg half. Keep an eye out for the 23 athlete guide. It should be coming out very soon. And watch out for those aid stations, not only on the bike, but also on the run. It's going to be a faster day than you think, so have a blast. And, you know, let me know if you have any questions. Best of luck to all athletes out there.